so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be bonkers, you guys. It's going to have all to do with buyer's remorse. And if you don't listen to what I'm saying, and this is just my opinion, then you might have buyer's remorse also. And that's probably a really bad thing to have, especially when it comes to buying something as expensive as a house. Now, there have never been more people than in 2022 and 2021 that have been purchasing property, right? Homes over the internet, you guys. And the market right now is so bad and so toxic, so competitive. There are actually people that are not touring their houses. They are waiving their inspection, not to mention they are overpaying for properties, over asking price, essentially immediately trapping themselves in their house because they're paying more than the house is worth. That topped with people picking random realtors and random loan officers they meet on the internet. There is so much buyer's remorse today. And really, that's what we're going to jump into and dive into. And hopefully, if you guys are actually actively looking right now, maybe you'll pause, maybe you'll take a step back and understand how the housing market works. The housing market is going to shift to a buyer's market. I don't care that we have low inventory. I understand we have low inventory, but that will change. Demand is going down, even though it's still outrageous right now, and supplies and inventory are going to start going up, even though it's historically low. In other words, you guys, this is going to pass, but we're going to look at some stories right now and dive into essentially 3 different areas of buyer's remorse. The first one is waiving home inspections. That is not something you should do. Getting an inspection for your home is of the utmost important because it tells you whether or not there's any minor or major damage, and it's really hard to cover some damage up. Now, number 2, there are many people that are buying over the internet and not even touring the house or touring the neighborhood. There's so many bad things about doing that, you guys. Number 1, you can't hear anything. What if there's barking dogs? What if there's planes flying over, a train track nearby? What if the carpet stinks? What if it smells like smoke in the house? There's so many reasons not to waive your tour and not to just shop for homes over the internet. And then the third thing we're going to explore is overpaying for the house. To pay more than the house appraises for is a super bad idea. And essentially what you're doing is immediately going upside down on that house because you've just paid over what it's worth, right? So those are the 3 areas of buyer's remorse. And you guys, here's the thing. This is generally the biggest financial transaction of most people's lives. We got to treat it like that. We can't take steps backwards because of COVID. We have to take steps forward and become stronger because predominantly because there's so much investing in our housing market right now, not just from institutional investors, but mom and pop investors as well. So it's really important, you guys, to buy, just not right now. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay, I'm renting myself. I have a house though, right? But I converted my primary residence into a rental because I'm getting a passive income finally for the first time of my life. And I decided to sit out of this toxic market and rent myself. I'll get more into that, you guys, towards the end of this video. But right now, we're going to jump into our first article. But before I do, remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm an opinion sharer, but I am a realtor in Houston and a loan officer in Texas. And if you guys could, please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. And as always, please comment below. We're going to dive into the first article right now. So the first article is from wypr.com. This article will be referenced in my description. And essentially, this article is going to be about a homeowner who essentially waived their inspection. So it's not really an article. We're not going to look at the whole article, mainly just kind of bullet point their overall experience on what happened because they waived their inspection. Okay, take a look at this right now. Okay, you guys, so they waived their home inspection. Let's read what happened. The day we moved in, our air conditioning broke, she told NPR. And so that was the first instance of, is this a mistake? Morgan, 30 years old, and her husband own a quaint home in Norwood, Massachusetts, outside of Boston. Like many millennials, they moved in June 2021, and to get ahead of the hyper-competitive market and ensure they won the bidding, they decided to waive their inspections. We have since had plumbing issues. We currently have a hole in our dining room ceiling because we just had a leak in our plumbing, Morgan said. This is the coldest week of winter. Their furnace broke and they had to get a new HVAC system. Morgan calculates they had spent almost $20,000 since they bought the house. Every time something does come up, I say to my husband, maybe we should be renting. Like, if only we were still renting, then the landlord could deal with this. You guys, so if you're going to learn anything from this video, I want it to be this. If you're still going to go buy right now, and I understand people are purchasing homes for various reasons right now, I'm always saying that if you do purchase right now, have the right mindset. But to waive property inspections is definitely the wrong mindset to have. If you can't get a property and get a bid accepted without having inspections, it's generally, and in my opinion, it's time to walk away. Better no deal than a bad deal. You don't want to walk into a money pit. Imagine that for a second. Your first day, your HVAC system or air conditioning breaks. Unbelievable. Do not waive your inspection. Now, remember, even if you tour the house, you still need to get an inspection, because when you're touring the house, you're not really getting in, going into the attic or basement and getting into the fine combing of that house. That's what your inspector is for. That's why you pay for a property inspector to go out to that house and really just check the roof, check the foundation, check the HVAC, and then all of the other little things. So, like I said, don't waive your inspection. It's almost a guarantee you're going to have buyer's remorse if you're waiving inspection. Now, article number 2 is going to be a story from The Guardian. Now, these people essentially didn't do a proper tour of the house and allegedly didn't do their final walkthrough. Now, you guys, it's important to inspect and tour your property many times through the closing. The housing market goes in cycles, right? So this is going to change. People are already starting to see this change. So if you don't tour your home and something happens, it's on you, right? If you can't smell something, if you can't hear something and you can't find that, then that's on you, not the seller. So like I said, it's more important now than ever, you guys, to work with solid professional and solid realtors, especially because evidently we have so millennials right now not doing property inspections, not doing tour, purchasing property over the internet. And if you guys are going to continue to do that, you better make sure you have the absolute best realtor representing you and your livelihood, which is to say that biggest transaction of your life, purchasing a home. So you better do all those things. Now listen to this story about this couple that didn't do proper tours of their house. The place wasn't wrecked exactly, but it was so dirty, Kingsman recalls. The sellers, who had vacated the property sooner than expected, hadn't bothered to empty out the fridge or clean the stove. Forensic evidence indicates they really liked oatmeal. The carpeting stank of cat urine and had to be removed. Beard shavings littered the bathroom counters. Filth was the least of her troubles. Kingsman soon uncovered a murky legal conflict between the home's previous owners and the HOA, which had culminated in a lawsuit that she had learned about only after moving in. She inherited the petty interpersonal aftermath, nullified parking privileges, and the unearned resentment of her neighbors. So this brings me to also touring the neighborhood, you guys. When you're going to put an offer on a house, you definitely want to tour everything about the house to make sure, number one, it doesn't stink. You can't just rely on pictures and videos, because pictures and videos are not going to give you the true story of that house. There are professional photographers that make really bad houses look really nice because they are skilled photographers, okay? You can't rely on that. In other words, at least for the smell, what if they were smokers? What if there's pet urine all over the house? You have to tour it. But not only that, tour the neighborhood, walk outside, make sure there's no barking dogs, make sure there's no neighbors fighting and yelling. When I go to look at homes, which I feel like it's been forever because I'm sitting out right now, unfortunately, I'm driving around the neighborhood and I'm constantly listening for dog barking, because one thing that really drives me crazy are owners that just let their dogs bark like crazy, right? That drives me absolutely bonkers, you guys. Again, it is important to get familiar with that house, because normally houses are long-term investments, you guys. And if you want to live there for long-term, you might as well live there in peace. Do you see what I'm saying here? Let's go to the very third thing right now that I'm going to cover as far as buyer's remorse. Now, number 3 of buyer's remorse is overpaying for a property, right? Now, consider this. If a house is listed for $300,000 generally it's going to appraise for $300,000. So if you go in this competitive toxic sellers market right now and you want to secure a property and you, for example, put $50,000 over the listing price, you are already upside down in that house $50,000. And a lot of people in my area right now are paying $25,000 over asking price. But throughout the nation, there are people, and I hear stories of people putting $100,000 or more above the asking price. So essentially what that means is you're already upside down in equity before you even move into that house. Okay. Listen to what I'm saying. I understand that holding real estate is generally a good idea, but all I'm saying is I'm sounding the alarm right now. I believe right now, and this doesn't happen a lot, you guys, this is super rare, but right now, in my opinion, it is a very, very bad time to buy homes and to buy and invest in real estate. And again, that is rare. Okay. So I'm doing things right now that are absolutely crazy. I don't have to rent. I'm choosing to rent. But one thing I will not do is I will not overpay for something by $25,000 to $50,000. I may go $10,000 and overpay $10,000 if I really love that house, but I can't even overpay for something that I love. That is how bad the market is right now. So I really want to caution you guys, if you're out there, don't waive inspections, tour the house, tour the neighborhood, and don't go over asking price to secure the property, because we are fixing to get inventory and demand is currently getting crushed. And we have a recession right around the corner. We have so many factors that are going on right now that tells me to sound the alarm on just wait right now. Don't buy right now. Sit out a little bit, because again, you do not want to get trapped upside down in your house. So let's talk about that one more time. So you went $50,000 over asking, you're automatically upside down in equity into your house. What if home prices don't even have any equity growth? You're trapped in the house. What if there's a 10% decline in home equity? You're super trapped. What if it goes down 20%? Not only are you upside down 20% in equity, you're upside down the $50,000 that you overpaid for the price. So you can't even build equity on your house until you have recouped what you paid over the appraisal value and asking price. Do you guys see what's going on here? Now, a lot of people blame this on millennials, and I get it, but either way, this is bad behavior going on right now. And I believe it is essentially leading to an even bigger bubble. Okay. You guys know that I think that we're in a housing market bubble. I understand there's low inventory, but the equity is surging too drastically, too quickly, essentially making this a bubble. And that is fueled by low inventory. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as we go through 2022. But again, I really feel from the bottom of my heart that it's probably best for 99% of people, right? There's always special circumstances, guys. I get that. But for 99% of people, if you want to avoid buyer's remorse right now, you may want to step out. Not forever. Don't rent forever. I'm not saying forever, but just for a little while as the dust settles, right? And take confidence in your obedience. Take confidence in holding and waiting. But again, if you're going to hold the property for 7 to 10 years and you have multiple income sources and streams, and you're okay with possibly going upside down, fine, still buy. But for most of us, I'm not cool with that. Anyways, you guys, so that's today's video. I'm going to conclude it right now. But I hope you guys kind of got some insights on what's going on in this market. And there's a lot of people doing this. Probably not a lot of people that are listening to my channel, but a lot of people around the nation are making these very poor decisions and having immediate buyer's remorse. I don't want a single person who listens to my channel to have buyer's remorse. So purchase carefully, step out a little bit, work on your credit, save your money, love your life. It's really simple. Now, moving forward, you guys, if you're looking at real estate, I wish you luck and I hope you win.